So during my free time, sometimes I'll just go to ESPN or any other high school recruiting website, and I'll just start scrolling through the years and the players. Sometimes I'll see an NBA superstar who's ranked super low, or I'll see a player I've never even heard of that is like top 5. A lot of players catch my eye, and one of them was Brandon Jennings. In high school, Brandon Jennings averaged 33 points a game. This gave him a perfect scouting grade at 99, and he was the number 1 recruit over Drew Holiday, DeMar DeRozan, Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and even more NBA players. Going into college, Jennings had 5 different options: Arizona, Kansas, Kentucky, UConn, and USC. The college that landed the stud was USC. Well, actually it was Arizona. The college the number 1 recruit chose was not even a college? What's he doing in Italy? Let me explain. In August of 2006, Jennings decided to commit to USC. Just 8 months later, he changed his mind so he'd go and play with star guard Jared Bayless. Yes, star. In college, Bayless averaged 20 points at Arizona. Jennings wanted to team up with him and decided to go play for the Wildcats. Until he didn't. Instead of taking a $20,000 scholarship, Jennings took a 3-year, $1.65 million contract. He decided to go play for L'Automatica Roma. In Italy, the number 1 recruit kind of sucked. In about 20 minutes, he averaged about 8 points on 37% shooting. Despite his struggles, he still went 10th in the 2009 draft. The Bucks picked him over future All-Star guards like Drew Holiday and Jeff Teague. This was quite the bold pick. Some mocks had him going top 5, while others had him out of the lottery, so picking him literally anywhere was a risk. He barely played a season in Europe though, so those few games weren't going to change scouts' minds of what they saw before that. So this pick by the Bucks was very risky, but it paid off. Or did it? At first, it did. In his first game, he was 1 assist and a board away from a 17-point triple-double. In his first 6 games, he averaged 20 points. When counting his 7th game, he was averaging 25 points per game.
What?
Yep, Brandon Jennings in just his 7th game as an NBA player scored 55 points in 40 minutes. Well, actually in about 36, since he didn't even score in the first quarter. At 20 years and 52 days old, Brandon Jennings became the youngest player to score 50 points in 1 game. That, at the time, put him next to LeBron James. Well, actually above him. Later into the season, he would start to slow down, but he finished with 15.5 points per game, putting him at 3rd in the Rookie of the Year race. Next season, he was performing even better, but he had to miss a few games due to a broken foot. That didn't hold him back though. The next season, he posted a career-high 19.1 points per game. This season, Jennings was an arguable all-star, but for some reason, he wasn't even top 10 in Eastern Conference backcourt votes. Why? Well, in his few seasons in Milwaukee, he showed lots of flaws. One being that his true shooting percentage was 51%, putting him at 156th out of 195 players that qualify. If you just take his field goal percentage, he's 122nd out of 123. Combine this with the fact that he has a 23.7 usage percentage, which is 43rd in the league, it severely hindered his case to make the All-Star game. Through 4 seasons on the Bucks, he made the playoffs twice, showed he was inconsistent, but he became a record holder. In free agency, he asked for $12 million, but the Bucks couldn't go above 11. Jennings was soon dealt in a signing trade for Chris Middleton, Brandon Knight, and his basketball reference says his nickname is Slava. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Someone just call him that. I'm sorry. Nevertheless, yes, he was traded for Chris Middleton. But at the time, Chris Middleton wasn't that great. When he got to Milwaukee, he really started to blossom, but the main piece in that trade was actually Brandon Knight. Brandon Jennings got greedy, wanting $12 million, but fell short and only got $8. He missed out on an extra $3 million and a chance to play with rookie Giannis. At the beginning, I asked if this pick paid off for the Bucks. They got Middleton, so yeah, this was technically one of the best picks they've made in a few decades, if you think about it. Jennings' time in Detroit was short-lived. He played great, but his lack of efficiency could never get him over the hump. Before the season, he was known as a good defender. That season, he lost that too. He still put up 15, 8, and 3, but he was such a streaky player that he became a liability sometimes. As I just mentioned though, he was putting up 8 assists. This season, he became a passer. He actually put up a 21 assist performance and added on 24 points alongside it. Unfortunately, another loss came when he suffered a season-ending Achilles injury, literally the next game. At the time, it was a season-ending injury, but it was really a career-ending one. Jennings came back 31 games into the next season, just 3 days before New Year's. When he came back though, he wasn't the same. The speed, athleticism, and a lot about his game was gone. Detroit saw this and dealt both him and Ilyasova to the Magic for Tobias Harris. Jennings gets dealt for a future borderline all-star yet again. Jennings' contract ended in Orlando, and he signed a $5 million contract with the Knicks. Just a few months later, though, Jennings was waived. Exactly 2 days later, the Wizards saw something in the disgruntled guard, and they signed him. A year later, the Bucks signed him right off his couch. His couch in China? After the Wizards' contract ended, I said there was a year between then and the Bucks signing him. That's because, after Jennings went unsigned in free agency, he decided to take his talents to the Brave Dragons. Over there, he immediately became a star. In just 13 games, he put up 28, 7, 5, and 3. The Bucks took notice and signed him to a 10-day. They unfortunately didn't look at Luis Scola, who put up 28 and 14, but Jennings was signed and back in the NBA. He signed a second 10-day contract, and eventually he signed a full contract for the rest of the season. April 20th was his last game in the NBA. The same way Jennings began his career, Jennings ended it on the Bucks. He eventually went overseas once again, but he couldn't find that same spark while in Russia. Brandon Jennings' basketball career ended in 2019, but hopefully you could remember him for much more than the 6 points he would average in his last 3 seasons. I unfortunately think he's going to be remembered like that though, but I hope me and you both can remember him for the 16 points he would average before that, or the 55-point performances he would put up. So instead of remembering him as a bust, hopefully you can remember him as much, much more. So thank you for watching. This is a bit different than what I usually do, but I had a lot of fun making this and writing this, so I hope you did too. If you did, leave a like. If you want more, subscribe. And if you want to say something, comment. Just say something down below. Just literally anything, not anything. Peace.